Good morning, Facebook. How's it going, guys? So, today we're going to be talking about dad jokes. We're going to be sharing some of our favorites and talking about what makes a dad joke so funny and cringeworthy at the same time. Quick little technical note. We are trying kind of a different setup here in the studio for the Facebook Live today, so if our voices are like crazy distorted, way too loud or way too quiet, or you can't hear us at all or something, just leave a comment, and that way I'll know. But I figured this way,
There's
breaking things over there?
There's a secret keyboard pull-out over here, apparently.
Oh.
I did not know that.
All right, well, that way you can get some
Get some typing done.
Yeah.
No computer hooked up, but
I'll bring a typewriter next time. So yeah, guys, drop your favorite dad jokes in the comments too. I would love to read some of those out on the episode. So, just hit a little refresh here. I'm going to share the live stream on my page, and then we'll get started. Wow, I really don't like how much of my body is visible in this angle here. It makes me a little self-conscious, but that's okay. I will power through.
The power of the dad bod, you know?
Yeah, exactly. We'll do another episode on the dad bod next week. Two dads talking.
Obviously, we're reviewing dad jokes throughout the episode, so I'm just chuckling here the entire time to myself.
Excellent. I love it. And that's the mark of a dad joke. It makes the dad laugh more than anybody else. All right. And public. Oh, that's my problem. Just a moment here. Public. Awesome. Okay. All right. Pull this puppy up and we will get started. Recording. You're not kidding. You're really going to be laughing the whole time. I love
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
I am here for it. All right. Okay. There we are. Okay. Welcome to Dadsplaining, a weekly chronicle of all the weirdest, messiest, grossest, and funniest parts of fatherhood, hosted by two first-time dads. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Brandon.
And this week we are going to be breaking down the dad joke. What makes them so funny to the dads and so groan-inducing to everyone else in the room. We're going to share some of our favorites. I'm going to talk about what we like in dad jokes, what doesn't make a good dad joke, and just having a good laugh the entire time. But before we dig into all of it, Brandon, if our listeners want to reach out to us with questions, topics they want us to talk about, thoughts, if they want to be on the show as a guest and share their stories, how can they find us?
Yeah, please start by checking us out on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Dadsplaining Podcast. Give us a like and a follow there. We're incredibly active. Obviously, we're streaming Facebook Live right now. You can catch all of our episodes unedited, raw, amazing, all
Warts
the curves. Beep, 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 beep. No, okay.
No.
Yeah. And then you can email us directly at dadsplainingpodcast@gmail.com. And then every week we release episodes, and you can get those on any app where you get your podcasts.
Exactly. And don't forget to leave us a rating and a review on your preferred podcasting app.
That sounds awkward.
We're going to prod you to leave a review on your favorite podcasting app. Speaking of reviews, we've got a new review this week on Apple Podcasts. It comes from Space Monkey. This was as of October 1st. So
we have gone not just international, but intergalactic. Exactly.
Intergalactic. All right. So Space Monkey says, these guys are easy to listen to. Great talk. I enjoy the real talk being that I am a new father. Keep it up, guys. We love it. Thank you so much, Space Monkey.
Easy to listen to. Ooh, yeah. The sultry sounds of the voice. Oh, yeah. The microphone does all the work, people.
Exactly. Man, but Space Monkey, thank you so much for listening and for your kind words. Yeah, we are definitely here for the new dads and the expecting dads and the dads that have been in it for a while. Wherever you are in the journey, and moms too, of course. We want to share our limited expertise. You can learn from our mistakes and, the amount of research that we do and laugh along with us. So, Brandon, what is new this week with the family?
Just on the week to week, I'm at that phase in life where I found myself tracking, new words, things that are being said that we haven't heard before from our son, new skills, like little things here and there. So we got a couple of new ones this week. He's really honing in on vehicles and types. He really loves watching traffic. Nobody else likes traffic. He loves it. So we've got a lot of windows in the front of our house. He loves watching, cars go by. He had a lot of trouble enjoying his high chair early on, and so we kind of moved away from it. There was an episode we talked about eating and how we kind of got him like a little table to sit at.
Yeah.
He now loves sitting in his high chair because it's near the window.
Oh, good.
And he can get up and he can see all the cars passing by, so he kind of gets on eye level, if you will, because the high chair sits him up.
Yeah.
And so we've got car, truck, we've got bus, we've got I don't think we've got fire truck and police car, but he knows what those are and he knows the sounds they make. So we've got beep beep for cars, or wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. If it's like an ambulance or a fire truck or something like that.
And he's making the noises.
He's making these noises,
awesome.
Yeah, because he knows the noises they make. I mean, admittedly, we live near a couple hospitals, so there's lots of ambulances going by quite frequently. So he's heard the sounds of the sirens a lot.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of those going on. A lot of good stuff going on with vehicles. He's like super into this like kind of large toy bus that he gets to play with. And so, we're really trying to think about getting him more things like trucks and cars and little things. I mean, he's a boy, right?
Yeah.
So he likes vehicles, I guess, likes little cars. So that's been pretty good. And, it's been always impressive to me that if you just kind of describe what you should do, that they can kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm a little impressed. To be honest, like we're at the park a lot more these days. For those of you who don't know, we live in Georgia in the United States. It's kind of in the south, and so it's been super hot.
Yep.
It's finally cooling off here. It was in the 40s this morning, and that's Fahrenheit. Celsius, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But it's very cool this morning, and it's been cooler lately, so we've been able to go out a lot to the park. And so think about climbing like the ladders to get onto the jungle gyms and the play structures, and each one's a little bit different, and he's just getting better at climbing things. And now we've even gone so far as to kind of teach him how to climb like some of those little small rope ladders that they have.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he's not like a Spider-Man, right? But just telling him like, okay, put your foot here, and then move your hand up, and like kind of telling him how to use his arms and legs to climb, and he's like, oh, okay, left arm up, and he moves his left arm up, and it's just kind of crazy to watch him do it. And I don't know if you've seen at jungle gyms, they have these like what I'm going to call like a reverse slide, where it's actually designed to climb up the slide. And it's got like little handholds, like a rock climbing formation almost. And we would always just have him avoid it, because I'm just like, you don't want to slide down that because you're just going to hit a bunch of bumps along the way.
Yeah.
But then he keeps being interested in climbing slides, and you can't normally climb a slide. And so I'm just like, oh, okay, well, put your foot on this one, and then put your hand there, and then just go left hand over here. Okay, now move the knee up, and we just taught him how to do it, and he climbed the dang thing.
Look at him. Look at Noah.
Yeah, he's crazy. Of course, he fell several times yesterday.
Oh, of course.
And hit himself in the head several times.
Yeah.
Because we're just top-notch parents.
All part of the journey.
But it's pretty great because, again, they attention deficit disorder, they just short-term memory, whatever you want to call it, at that early age. He bops himself in the face, you pick him up, he cries for 5 seconds, and then he's just like, ball. Yeah. Ball.
Little goldfish, though they are. Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of crazy good stuff. He's just kind of he's peeking out and just kind of enjoying more things, and he's just getting interested in more things, and it's exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. How's it going over there with David?
It's going pretty good. So my wife and I took a trip this weekend without the little boy.
Excellent.
Yeah. It's like you mentioned a few weeks ago. When you travel with a kid, especially a toddler, and all the accessories that come along with them, it really makes you appreciate traveling without a child. So this week we got the other end of that spectrum.
Right.
We took a trip to New York. So the backstory there is 95.5 WSB, which is the radio station I work at, where we broadcast our podcast. Record our podcast, rather, won a National Journalism Award at the Edward Murrow Awards, which is held in New York every year. So I traveled with a small part of our news team up to New York to accept the award, and got to fly on the company dime, and stay in a nice hotel and have all that fun.
Yeah.
And had a nice little date night with Ashley. We went out and saw Phantom of the Opera on Broadway Sunday night, which was really cool. Had some authentic New York pizza. Went out the next morning to the diner from Seinfeld, because I'm a huge 90s TV nut.
Hey, while you're there.
Yeah, exactly. And then walked Central Park. All these things that They're fun to do, they're not like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but when you're doing them just with two adults and you don't have to push a toddler along, you know what I mean? It's a different experience. We were joking in line for security at the airport here in Atlanta. It's a long line. It's annoying, sure. But imagine if we were doing this with David in the stroller,
right.
with the car seat in the backpack slung over my back, with the diaper bag, with all of these extra things. It adds a whole new element to traveling, which we've talked about extensively in other episodes. And so it was a nice little break. You know what I mean? It's we've said before, vacationing with a kid is not really vacation anymore. It's just different. It's still great and fulfilling in its own way. But vacationing when it's just adults that can take care of themselves and stay up as late as they want and sleep in the next morning, it really is a vacation.
Yes.
So yeah, that was really cool. And then the flip side to that is David got to spend a few days with his grandparents.
Right.
Both my parents and my wife's parents live in the same town here in Georgia, so he would stay with them. He would bounce back and forth from day to day.
Nice.
And so he got a lot of quality time, with Lolly and Yaya, as the grandmothers are called.
Excellent.
And both of the grandfathers are still called Pop at this point. We haven't decided how to differentiate them yet, so that may be a problem later on. But he got some good quality time with everybody, got to play, got to have some fun, got to, live by the more relaxed rules that grandparents are bound to give.
Oh, yeah.
And then that reunion, when you get back home and you see the kid and he sees you and he's so excited because he hasn't seen you in a few days. I mean, that is just fantastic. You appreciate it all the more because, you joke about how much fun vacationing without the kid is, but you do miss them. You know what I mean? Once you get there and you're like, oh, David's not here. Oh, man, wonder what he's doing. I kind of miss him right now.
Where are those videos? Are they coming in? Those pictures? What do we got?
Oh, I got a million pictures. I just haven't finished uploading them yet.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So yeah, I'll share plenty of those. So yeah, that's what's new. Now it's back to the grind, back to the normal thing, and yeah, now we're here.
Excellent. Well, we on the Dadsplaining podcast, of which you are a part of course, we're very proud of you.
Oh, thank
congratulations.
You so much.
A lot of hard work. We don't talk too much about the work life. We focus a little bit on the dad life, but obviously Jesse, good example of being able to be very successful in the career and also trying to do the best job you can with the dad as well. So
thanks a lot, man.
Good example.
That means a lot. Thanks. All right, music break. On to the subject. Abigail, your, I think, coworker, commented. She tagged Scott Waldron and added an LOL.
Oh, yeah. Good dad jokes. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let me pull up my notes here.
Let's dive in. Do you want to kick this off with a dad joke and just do a dad joke every 2 minutes and just like a clock goes off and we have to tell a new dad joke? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, I do kind of like that. We'll pepper in the dad jokes every time.
Yep.
Why don't you come in with a dad joke
let
then
me
I'll
pull up a good one here.
Yeah, and then I'll lead with the article. Oh, that'll be fun. Oh my God, my son is texting me right now. David,
your son is texting you?
I think David has a hold of.
Oh, okay. I was just really confused there for a minute. I was like, how is he doing that?
He's texting like animated GIFs. You guys, I don't know if you can see this on the Facebook Live, but it's just a ton of gibberish. It's amazing. Okay, I'm going to save these. That's awesome.
Oh, that one might not be family friendly. Let me do that.
What is the point of a non-family friendly dad joke?
It's funny, but it's just like, I don't want to talk about that subject, even in a joke, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like, what's your audience? That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, all right. Whenever you're ready. Okay. So as we jump into today's topic, it would be amiss if I didn't start with a good joke. So, I've just been thinking about the fact that I'm a little worried about my son, and the fact that I'm just a little bit worried because I think he might be doing some illegal stuff. I think he might be breaking the law a little bit, and I just kind of wanted to check. And Jesse, you're always my confidant, so I wanted to check with you. And I'm just kind of thinking here, like, he's not really doing a great job sleeping, so especially during nap time. So do you think that if he's refusing to sleep during nap time that he's guilty of resisting arrest?
See, that is what makes a good dad joke.
Bingo.
The pun, the groan, that is what we're going to be talking about today. Yes, today we are talking all about the anatomy of a dad joke. Here at Dadsplaining, we've been sharing a dad joke every episode for the past 56 episodes, I think.
Heyo.
And now we are actually going to get serious about it because there is, believe it or not, some serious scholarship done on the subject. I found
is
that
right.
out. Yeah, so college students or college graduates may remember the database JSTOR. It's like an online digital library of resources, things like that, articles,
research, academic related usually.
Exactly, yeah. So I did not know this until recently, but JSTOR has a sort of a news magazine.
News to me.
Yeah, exactly, called JSTOR Daily, where it's mostly scholarly stuff. What are we studying? What are we researching? This past June 12th of this year, 2019, they published an article called "The Dubious Art of the Dad Joke." It is by an author named Chi Luu, and it starts off with a classic. What is brown and sticky?
Poop?
No, a stick.
Hey, bingo.
Yeah. And then it goes into what is a dad joke made of? What is the point of a dad joke? Where does it come from? So there isn't really much known about how old the concept of the dad joke is. I'm assuming that it's as old as comedy, because it definitely feels dated. But it's what is interesting to me coming out of this article, and I'm going to share a link in the show notes so you guys can read it afterwards. But what's so cool is that it's not just limited to Western culture or Americans or things like that where we are here in the U.S. There are equivalents in other parts of the world.
Oh, good. We're not alone.
Exactly. In Japan, I'm going to butcher this, so I apologize to our Japanese listeners, but there is the Oyaji Gyagu, which means literally translated the old man gag.
Nice.
Exactly. Yeah. What is unique about the old man gag is that it is dependent on homophones. So like one word that has multiple meanings, you know what I mean? Like stick, a stick you hold, but you could also stick around or stick on something.
I see.
So they use a lot of those. In Korea, there is again, I'm going to mispronounce this, the ajay, or middle-aged man joke.
Nice.
And
so not old man joke, but middle-aged man
exactly.
joke. So we're getting younger.
Korea,
we're getting younger.
They get them a little younger, and then, of course, here in the U.S.,
whenever you become a dad.
Exactly. Whenever you can reproduce, you can make some bad jokes. And, of course, everywhere, no matter where they are very simple jokes that result in groans and smacks on the forehead and just stares of silence
also
from
laughter,
the other party.
everyone. Let's just remember, it's all about the funny.
Exactly. So, studying this article, I've kind of written some notes on what makes up the dad joke. What are the components? What is the point of the dad joke? And the common thread seems to be that they are kind of predicated on puns and language. You know what I mean? So, in a lot of humor, the punchline of a joke may be a certain person or it may be a certain group. You know what I mean? Like a lawyer joke or something like that. The punchline is, oh, haha, all lawyers are like this. Yeah. The dad joke is unique because it's not a joke on a person or a group or a thing. It's a joke on the joke itself. The joke is the words in the joke.
There you go.
So what is brown and sticky? A stick. It's not, oh, haha, sticks are funny. It's, oh, haha, you are expecting something and you got something else.
Or a classic one I was just reminding myself of. It was like, hey, did you know that I'm reading a book about anti-gravity? Yeah, I just can't put it down. Ba-dum-bump-ch. And there it is.
Yeah, exactly. So they are also mostly inoffensive. Mostly clean. There are adult dad jokes, but they're not as funny to me because you can't tell them to kids.
Right, yeah, I don't really get the point of it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, when you're an adult and you're on that level, your sense of humor is a little more sophisticated, right? So they're also quite simple. You wouldn't tell a very complicated joke to a kid, right? Because they're not going to follow along. They're going to ask a million annoying questions along the way. So you're going to keep it simple. And what I see is that there are two different types of dad jokes. There's the type that are short and to the point, which are really fun, and you can tell a million of them in a row. And then there are the kind that are annoyingly long.
Oh, boy.
You know, you pack a ton of unnecessary details to the point where it's getting on the listener's nerves.
Oh, yeah.
And then the punchline is just a total disappointment. A lot of people call that like an anti-joke.
Oh.
Where you get to the end of it and you're like, that
I
was so
sat
annoying.
through it for that? Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who's really good at those is comedian Norm Macdonald, who has been big for the past 25 years.
Yeah, he's
so.
the KFC chicken guy.
He is, yes. He's one of the many colonels.
One of many colonels,
I think Reba McEntire is my favorite, but he's a good one too. So they're intentionally bad, and that's the same with the Japanese and Korean equivalents. Is that
Nice.
they're intentionally simple. You're expecting a clever punchline,
Right.
and what you get is something so stupid that anyone could get it, to the point where it's not funny, but it's funny because it's not funny. That's what I
Right.
love so much about them. Like, for instance, hey, Brandon, what did Batman say to Robin before they got in the Batmobile?
Put on your seatbelt.
See, you might expect something like that, but no. Hey, Robin, get in the Batmobile.
Of course. It's so obvious.
Or, hey, did you hear about the restaurant on the moon?
No.
Yeah, it has great food, but no atmosphere.
Hey,
But yeah, it's stupid like that, and it's puns and it's wordplay, and that's what I love so much about them. And so as a contrast to that, in my opinion, this is just me editorializing, but what I think makes a bad dad joke are jokes that are super complicated, like I said, where the kid's not going to follow along, where there's bad language or adult content or adult concepts that they're not going to understand. One exception to that, I think, are jokes that you can bond with your adult children, when you're in your middle ages, that kind of thing. The one sort of almost adult dad joke that I've told on this podcast it's still one of my favorites. It's not one I could tell a 5-year-old, but it is did I tell you about the book on the history of menstruation that I'm writing?
No.
It's a period piece.
Hey, there you go. Because then you don't want to be like, what is menstruation?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could tell it to a teenager. You couldn't tell it to
I mean, you can also thread the needle there, and you can have dad jokes that you tell amongst dads.
There's
well.
that.
So I mean, there's a time and a place for it. You can make it work. But you don't want to have a topic that's referenced where you're like, oh, I've got to go explain that topic now. And discuss, why it's interesting. I was actually, as I was perusing, I mean, it's so easy to get a giant list of dad jokes.
Yeah.
That it's part of the humor of the dad joke is there's just way too many of them. And I'm just impressed that we obviously, joke telling keeps up with the times, right? So you don't just get those silly word plays, but you also get them updated for kind of present day. So you can take an old and mix it in with the new. And I found one that I find a very good mixture of some of the oldest joke material mixed in with a little bit of a new flavor to it.
Yeah.
So, the best way I can describe it is the biggest existential question that anyone might think about is the chicken and the egg. Which one came first?
Right.
It's been there for a long time. So the joke goes, I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you know. Because it's so good.
You don't even have to say which came first.
Right.
They just know based on the joke.
And it's just great
that
we're mixing in Amazon, which is, it wasn't around, long ago. And
exactly.
so we're just like, and now I'm just thinking to myself, like, I wonder which would come first. And I fully believe that a chicken could be ordered off of Amazon as well. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. It's sort of meta humor. It's a joke about a joke, really. Like, you take the format and then you turn it on its head. And that's easy enough for kids to understand, because these days every kid knows what Amazon is.
Right.
And every kid knows the chicken and the egg joke. So that's one other thing I wanted to focus on with these are sort of the benefits of the dad joke. Why do we tell them in the first place?
Yep.
And this article had some interesting things to say to the point of adults bonding with kids through dad jokes. There's a number of ways they can do that, because at that stage in a kid's life, whether they're anywhere from like 5 to 14, they're developing their understanding of language.
Right.
And one way that they can do that is through humor. They're more likely to remember a homophone or a pun or a synonym, you know what I mean, if it's making them laugh.
Right.
So it's a good way to bond with them. It also kind of brings you down to their level. It's something that's interesting that they said, and I don't know, I'm going to speculate a little bit about it, but one reason I think that dad jokes are maybe kind of a 20th century thing, in that being so ubiquitous, is that I think there was a time when dads were sort of these distant, monolithic, very stoic figures that would, they would go to work, they'd come home, they'd bring home their paycheck, they wanted their glass of scotch and their cigar, and they wanted to watch Ed Sullivan and go to bed.
Okay.
There probably was a time when it was seen as maybe not manly or not macho to be bonding with your kids. I know a lot of adults these days joke that when they were kids, they were lucky if their parents knew their names. And that was just the way things were. But these days, dads are becoming more open to bonding and spending time and being more sort of present and intentional as parents.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's one way to kind of break the ice with kids, and it's also one way to make yourself more approachable.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who wants to come off as very strong and intimidating is not going to tell a dad joke.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't see, because it breaks down that illusion. It makes you look lame on purpose, right?
Yeah. A little bit of vulnerability in
exactly,
there. You're kind of opening yourself up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, telling a joke isn't, revealing your personal story on Oprah.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going in there and you're communicating with your kids. So I mean, I kind of like where you're going with that.
Yeah.
And I definitely could see it, because it's a different mindset. Like, if you're the groan-inducing, poor, horrible joke-telling dad that your kid thinks of you as, that's because your kid is interacting with you.
Yeah.
Your kid is talking with you. You're telling them jokes. You're probably not just peppering them with, one joke a day, and that's the only interaction you have with them. Like, you're probably doing it because you're trying to be in the mix, you're trying to be involved, you're trying to connect with them. Like, why do you tell a joke? You tell a joke because you want to elicit a response, usually a laugh, but you also want to make a connection. I mean, I know that, like, a professional comedian, a stand-up or somebody, like, there's a job and there's some things going on there, but just you and me, we're trying to tell jokes to one another to bond or connect or whatever. And the same with our kids. Like, I try to point out funny things, or I kind of say funny things about my kid because he can't express the things that he's doing. And so if we're at the park and he's the other day, like, he'll be like, okay, I want to play in the swings. He doesn't say that to me. He just points. And I put him in the swing. And then as soon as I put him in the swing and I push him, he's like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, that's it? Oh, you're done? Okay, great. And like the funny narration, and, the other parents are looking around like, what? Okay.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. But, we're trying to make it like a common experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Between the parents. And, I just kind of know that whatever I'm thinking is probably things that they're thinking. So it's, it's a part of that common experience. And I'm sure that we'll be, prolific dad joke tellers with our kids. Hopefully on the slightly funnier side.
Yeah. The other thing that's on my mind is how a dad joke kind of has a different goal than just the act of telling it than other types of jokes do. So there are a lot of jokes where the point is to kind of make yourself come off as clever. It's like, oh, hey, look how smart am I that I was good at telling this joke, and I gave you an interesting punchline, and haha, look at me. I mean, I think a lot of stand-up comedy is that way, where a good stand-up comedian, you think of them as, wow, they're clever that they wrote that joke and that they took me on down that path and they gave me a great punchline. That's really funny. Right. The point of a dad joke is not to come off as clever. It's to come off as, like, kind of dumb and humble and approachable and fun and just a kid at heart, basically.
Right.
And so in a lot of ways, I think it kind of teaches good values to kids, because it shows them it's okay to laugh at yourself. It's okay to make yourself kind of look bad and as a joke, and not be so self-conscious about presenting this image of perfect brilliance and intelligence to the world. And I don't know, like, I just think that's really cool, and it's something that is, I think, not limited to dads for sure.
Yeah.
They call them dad jokes, I think, just because of maybe the trend in recent years of dads trying to make that connection and do more bonding. But you were talking about the running commentary that you provide with your kid, who obviously is not going to say anything in response. But
right.
You're saying that kind of for multiple reasons, for the benefit of other parents around you, that they can kind of commiserate,
exactly.
for your own benefit, to kind of preserve your sanity, and then so your kid is at least getting some input.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they like hearing our voice, whether or not they know what we're talking about. But the article kind of dug into sort of the gender differences of how men and women tell different kinds of jokes, which I found kind of interesting from a sociological perspective, because they would, and I don't know if I agree with this or not, I haven't done enough of the research to kind of verify it, but their point is that a lot of jokes that men have historically told in the workplace are, like I said earlier, jokes on groups of people and jokes to make themselves look clever, and it's kind of a dominance thing, where you dominate the conversation. It's, hey, everybody gather in, I got a great joke to tell you, and I've got your attention for 60 seconds. And they have said that, and I don't know if this is true, but the way women may more often tell jokes is kind of cooperative. It's more just like little cuts here and there. It's like, oh, here's a funny remark in the middle of this larger conversation that we're having. So it's not about everyone gather around, I got a great joke. It's about, hey, here's a funny commentary on a conversation that we're all having.
Interesting, yeah, like a communal joke-telling situation, which I mean makes sense. Kind of like when you're hanging out with friends and you're just chatting and you just throw in the things that you know are going to be funny and you just keep it's a part of the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about you.
It's not an interruption. Yeah, you're just kind of adding it in. Yeah. Yeah, I can totally see that because maybe this says something about me. I don't know. You're talking about gender stereotypes, but I enjoy doing jokes of that variety.
Yeah, me too.
I just kind of like sitting back and, being a part of the conversation, and you just kind of lob in a quick funny anecdote or a quick point of view or perception in the middle of it, and you just kind of get a little chuckle and you kind of move it on.
Exactly.
I'm not going to ask people to look at me, but then again, I'm a dad joke teller, so clearly, like we're part of this evolution, and it's not about gender stereotypes probably anymore. Maybe it used to be, and maybe now it's just we all just have a different way of kind of looking at things, and it's a little bit more communal in nature.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I'll notice sometimes when my wife makes me laugh, it's always with these sort of things that catch me off guard. We're in the middle of a conversation, we'll be talking about something that itself is not funny, and then she'll throw something really funny into the mix.
Right.
And then we'll just keep going. But it stops me because I'm like, oh my God, I did not even think of that. That's hilarious. And then we'll keep going. But a lot of times the way that I make jokes with her is that I'll come at her out of the blue and say, hey, did you hear about this? Or, hey, what do you call a blank that does blank?
Yeah.
And again, it's a dad joke, so the point is to make her groan and kind of get on her nerves a little bit, and then kind of move on from there. So, I guess there is some truth to that.
But you like a little bit of a redirect almost, where you're not interrupting the flow.
Exactly.
And one thing I know about you is, surprise, Jesse and I know each other a little bit. We've known each other for a little while.
Well, 8 years now.
I remember a pretty good story of yours that is not exactly a dad joke, but just kind of gives a good glimpse into the joke stylings of one Jesse Brooks. And it has to do with when you found out you were becoming a dad. And if you remember from, I assume, one of our earliest episodes, we talked about how you discovered that you were going to be a dad. And I don't know if you want to take over and remind everyone. You probably give it more eloquence than I can.
Sure. So I'll retell this. My wife and I actually really love telling the story. So it was I believe March of 2017. Maybe February.
It's okay. Your wife will correct you later.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm up early on a Saturday morning. My wife comes to me and says, "Hey, let's go take a walk. We have a wooded trail near our house." And I get excited. I put on my walking shoes and we start walking down the trail. And about 5 minutes down the trail, there's no one around. She says, "Oh gosh, let's see." I don't remember what she says, but she's not breaking the news to me yet. But I look around like, "Hey, there's nobody around." I could kill you and nobody would find you. No one would ever know.
And there's the perfect redirect joke.
Exactly. And so I go to a really dark place out of the blue, out of nowhere, and then she fires back with me, "No, you can't kill me, I'm pregnant."
Bingo. Hey. And you're like, wait a minute, I was joking. You're joking too, right?
Exactly. Yeah, she fired it right back at me, but no, it was serious, and she was pregnant.
So that's when the redirect backfires.
Exactly.
But I just think that's a great way of just encapsulating the talented humor that is one Jesse Brooks.
Yeah, thank you so much. And but that's a big part of our relationship, is that we bond over kind of dark hypothetical humor. It's very absurd. It's not realistic at all. I'm not a violent person. I promise. Facebook
not at all.
And federal authorities that are watching this right now,
of course they are,
through my webcam.
Creepy. Wow. Okay. There's the dark humor.
Exactly. So, Brandon, I think to kind of take us out, I would love to just kind of swap some of our favorite dad jokes.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been keeping track of a couple fresh ones here, and so I just kind of go with what's new. I hate, don't want to try to repeat too much of the things that I've been doing, but again, I like a good relevant joke, and so this one's somewhat relatable to local fans here in Georgia, and you'll hear why. So, Jesse, did you hear the news about FedEx and UPS are merging together?
No.
Yeah, they're just going to go by the name Fed Up now.
That sounds about right.
Bingo.
Yeah, I'm pretty fed up myself.
Fed up with your stuff, yeah.
All right, Brandon, for you, what do you say when someone takes your queso?
Queso? No-o.
That's nacho cheese.
Nacho, hey, nah, that's my cheese. That's right. That's
one of my favorites.
Yeah, Jesse, there's a terrible incident that happened the other day. I was out shopping around. I was at the Apple store, and somebody robbed the place. And the cops came over to me, and they're like, "Yeah, we need to check out all the eyewitnesses."
Oh!
There it is.
All right, Brandon.
Eyewitnesses, yep.
Wow. Did I tell you that my son can't find his Lord of the Rings Lego set?
Wow, no. What happened?
It's a real Lego loss.
Okay. See, this is good. This is good. This is good. Hang on, I gotta pull up my phone here. Okay, yeah. You have to take because my son can't speak, but let's just pretend for a minute, of course, right? So yeah, my son came over to me and he's like, "Dad, can I have a bookmark?" And I just burst into tears because I think at 11 years old he doesn't know my name is Brian. He's like, "Can I have a bookmark?" Get it? He says, "Can I have a book, Mark?" You got to get the silent comma in there because the syntax. He's asking for a book from Mark.
A book, comma, Mark.
And I'm just like, he doesn't even know my name. What is he doing?
Oh, my God. Hey, speaking of grammar, something to really give you the importance of commas is the difference between "let's eat, Grandma" and "let's eat, Grandma."
Oh, I love a good... First of all, I just got to say, I am a fan of the Oxford comma, and if everyone is not a fan of the Oxford comma, I don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of really terrible examples like that where you end up doing something that you don't want to be doing. You just don't want to be doing. This is good. So assuming a back and forth here where my son is like, "Hey, Dad, make me a sandwich." And I go, "Poof, you're a sandwich." Because I cast magic on you.
Yep, I'm using that one.
There we go.
When he gets a little older. Okay, hey, Brandon, what is the loneliest cheese?
One. I don't know.
Provolone.
Provolone. Oh, he is all alone. Of course, who doesn't like a good? Yeah. Hey, Jesse. I've always kind of wondered. It's got to be tough out there for people who, are invisible. So why did the Invisible Man turn down the job offer?
I don't know.
He couldn't see himself doing it.
Hey, why did the nudist not get the job that he interviewed for?
I don't know. We have a good theme going here, though.
Because the boss was too clothes-minded.
Clothes-minded. Wow. Really working at it. Oh, my God. That's so good. What do you call a person that has no body and no nose?
Oh, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Oh!
Nobody knows. Here we go.
All right, and I'm going to close this out with two...
You got to kill us at some point, yeah.
Yep, exactly. Two listener-submitted dad jokes. Samantha Plunkett says, "Hey, why does a chicken coop have two doors?"
I have no idea.
Because if it had four, it would be a chicken sedan.
It's a coop. I love it.
Oh, man. So, Sam actually is an old high school friend of mine. Just had her baby. Congratulations, Sam. And then
congrats.
Christian, who's my brother, said, "Hey, how many people in the cemetery are dead?"
All of them.
Oh, I told that wrong. Oh, you got it. I was supposed to turn it, and then you...
Oh. No, I've seen a similar version of this joke. Sorry, we ruined that one, Christian. But here's how I could do this. Hey, Jesse, have you ever seen the Oakland Cemetery here in town? Yeah, it's super popular. I hear everyone's dying to get in there.
Oh! See, if we were telling this in any other setting, everyone would not be reacting the way we are reacting right now because we're dad nerds.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, I think that this is probably a good place to take us out before we rapidly lose subscribers here. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Dadsplaining. Brandon, between this week and next week, if our listeners want to reach out to us, where can they find us?
Please check us out on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Dadsplaining Podcast. Give us a like and a follow there. You can check out our Facebook live streams on Facebook every week. This one's going up actively as we speak. And then you can drop us an email at dadsplainingpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your dad jokes. Send us your thoughts. Ask us your questions, whatever you want to do. We do read it. And then you can check out this and every episode every week anywhere you get your podcasts.
Exactly. Please don't forget to click subscribe on whatever podcast you're listening to. We publish new episodes every Monday morning, usually around 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, if I have finished editing it on time, if I'm not running late. And we also have a YouTube channel where you can find archives of our old episodes. I haven't finished uploading them yet, but I'm working on it. I'm busy.
He's winning awards, people. Come on.
Exactly.
The man has a job.
Yes, but if YouTube is your preferred podcasting app, as it is for many podcasters, you can find us there. So next week, we don't have it perfectly lined up yet, but we have a number of people that have approached us to be interview guests on the show. So I think we're going to reach out to one of them and bring you guys a fresh, either a new dad story or a parenting story. We got a couple of moms that want to talk to us as well. So one way or another, we are going to have something fun for you. And to close us out, Brandon, this week's bonus dad joke comes from our listener and one-time guest on the show, Karina. She says, Hey, did you hear about the man that died in a vat of coffee?
Oh, that sounds terrible. No.
No, don't worry. He didn't suffer. It was instant.
Wow, instant coffee. Okay. Instant death. Oh, my.
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Oh, did you have
No,
one?
no,
Okay,
I didn't.
okay.
I was out. Yeah, tap me out.
Yeah, exactly. That was good. That was
Nailed
fun.
it.
All right. Hey, guys, thank you so much for listening, and we
Thanks,
will
everybody.
catch you next week.
Crushed it.
Save it. Okay.
Perfect timing. Just gotta. That was well done. I got a 9 o'clock, so I'll make it right on time.
Awesome.